Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I'm the Public Engagement Officer at the Centre for Stem Cells and Regenerative Medicine at King's College London. So my job involves working with our stem cell scientists to come up with fun and interesting ways to connect with non-specialist audiences. And by non-specialist audience, that could be anyone from a primary age student to patients with conditions that we are researching, to members of the local community or people that aren't generally interested in science at all, to try and raise awareness of what we're doing and change attitudes about stem cell research. Some examples of activities that we have done in the past include some science and art collaborations and exhibitions at the Science Gallery London. We've also done some workshops, including my favourite, which is the stem cell embroidery workshop, where people come in, sit around with scientists and embroider some stem cell imagery and just sit in a casual setting and chat all about science research. The main kind of aim of these events and activities is to enable a two-way dialogue between scientists and non-specialists to help the public's input into research be increased. So it's not just our scientists telling people what they're researching, but listening to the thoughts and the opinions of people and trying to input that into their research and the future direction of their research. So in terms of my career path of how I got there, I originally at my teenage years wanted to be a dancer, and I was doing about 11 hours of training every week on top of my GCSEs, and I absolutely loved dance. But my mum at the age of 16 recommended that rather going straight off to dance school, I do a couple of academic A-levels to kind of complement and give me a backup option if dancing didn't go well. And I ended up doing science, performance arts and psychology, and I really fell in love with the science aspect and decided to follow that career path and just keep dancing as a hobby. And I really loved going to university and learning all about, my course was actually a very unique one. It was zoology with physiology, and I was the only person in my year to have that specific degree or module. But yeah, as I said, I really loved that, and then continued on to become a lab technician, doing a lot of molecular biology work at various places, really fun places to work. At the Animal Health Veterinary Laboratories Agency, I've worked at the Natural History Museum. Where else have I worked? I've worked at the Medical Research Council and Cancer Research UK. So incredible jobs, incredible places, really interesting people. But throughout that whole time, I was always volunteering at public-facing events, and I really loved that element of connecting with the people and letting them know what's actually happening in the world of research. Because essentially, a lot of science is publicly funded, so people have a right to know and a right to influence how that money is spent. So the more kind of public and interesting events that I was involved in, the more that I wanted to pursue that as a career. So I had another career change that was from dance to science, from science to public engagement. But because I had all of that science knowledge, it put me in a good stead to be able to do this job. Any advice I'd have for someone that wants to go into a career in science is do what you love, do what you enjoy. Science careers and science degrees give you a lot of skills, so you can transfer them to various different job roles. So for example, with me, although I started out in a lab, I have ended up out of a lab, but still using my science skills. There's plenty of jobs and opportunities that you can do that aren't necessarily being a doctor or being in the lab that require these science skills. So have a little look into the options that you can also pursue if you didn't want to do specifically lab research too. Thanks for listening. I hope that's helpful.